Hello and welcome again to another Comic Talk episode. This this week's episode is covering The Incredible Hulk, as requested by my oldest. Asked her what she would like to see in terms of comics on here, and she, no hesitation, the Hulk. So here he is. We're also going to talk some about the other Hulks, because there are a fair few. I never quite realized until just recently just how many there are. Like, I was not aware that Bruce Banner's wife, Betty Ross, became a Hulk at one point, and still is technically. But yeah, so, quick recap on who the Hulk is. The Hulk, when he is not in his giant green form, is a mild-mannered scientist by the name of Bruce Banner, who became a giant monster through exposure to gamma radiation from a bomb test that he was essentially strong-armed into doing because he couldn't find a better job. And it had a profound effect on the man, mainly due to the fact that he had a serious amount of PTSD from his abusive father all throughout his childhood, and this gamma radiation altered his cells and caused him to manifest as a giant green monster whenever his negative emotions got out of control. So, fear, anxiety, anger, rage. It's kind of an appropriate comic talk for Halloween. The aesthetic design of the Hulk since the beginning has been reminiscent of Mary's Frankenstein monster, and just the battling with personal demons and sometimes literal demons, especially in the most recent arc, the Immortal Hulk, and some of the stuff he's been dealing with Thor lately. This transfer of all of this gamma radiation to other people, causing them to become monsters as well. It's rather horrifying and Halloween-y design. So the Hulk's had a really long run, almost as long as Spider-Man's in terms of how many issues he's got. We're currently up pushing 800 from the original run, as opposed to Spider-Man's 900. So, pretty dang close. And I don't have nearly as much on the Hulk as I do Spider-Man. Because as a kid, I didn't really appreciate the character, and now that I'm older and appreciate him, I don't collect comics nearly as much. So, one of the things that I wanted to use today is a bit more props. I've got cards from Skybox's Marvel 93 trading card run. So just, for some images and some power leveling we can learn from this one here, we've got a combined Bruce Banner Hulk. The Hulk absorbed his multiple personalities, so at that point I believe it was still just the Grey Hulk and the Green Hulk. Absorbed them and became a intelligent and still superpowered version of himself. What I think is always funny is whenever they portray a Hulk Banner combo where the Hulk is intelligent and able to control himself, the Hulk himself always seems weaker. He doesn't seem to have the power that the unleashed raging Hulk does. So as much as he claims that he's conquered Banner, I feel like it's Banner's keeping him in check. And a lot of his rogues gallery and his allies as well are results of other gamma tests or from, just exposure to the Hulk himself. We've got the leader, who was exposed to gamma radiation and instead of it bulking up his muscles, bulked up his brain. We've got She-Hulk. Where'd you go, She-Hulk? Nope, that's Hulk. There she is. She's hiding. We've got She-Hulk, Jennifer Walters, his cousin, which, she just got a TV show on Disney Plus all about her. I think it's funny because canonically now in the Marvel Universe, She-Hulk is stronger than the Hulk. Something happened, her powers got super amplified. And short of Devil Hulk, she is the most powerful gamma radiated being in the universe. Betty Ross, his second wife, is also a Hulk. She became the Red Hulk. And much like her father, Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross, the Hulk's initial and long-time nemesis, also became a Red Hulk. And all of these people are all tied by the gamma radiation that created them, caused them to have the powers that they do. There's also the Abomination, the teenager that Bruce Banner saved when the initial detonation caused him to get his powers, later got experimented on with gamma radiation by MODOK and became A-Bomb. And it's just this whole slew of people haunted by the effects of nuclear radiation, which at the time that the Hulk came out was one of those things that was a fear very much in everybody's mind, was this fear of nuclear fallout and the damage it could cause and the things that it would make. And that really sticks out throughout the story of the Hulk, is the fears and the dangers of the unknown and the latent madness, I guess, of the human psyche. Not controlling your rage, not letting that animalistic side out. And there's been a couple of other storylines as well that I've really thought were interesting. There's the betrayal arc where the Hulk's friends felt he was too dangerous and decided to launch him into space, where he conquered a planet, married the queen of said planet, and then, produced 2 heirs, and then got shot back to Earth, where he then came in, and decided to get his revenge against the people who had wronged him. And then his son somehow magically ended up growing up and landed on Earth as well to come and fight him in the aftermath of World War Hulk. You can see part of his hit list there. And so Hulk gets to fight his own child, whom the Hulk claims, but Bruce Banner doesn't. And then Bruce Banner and the Hulk merge again, and the Hulk becomes super intelligent and then starts calling himself Doc Green and decides to rid the world of irradiated heroes, essentially. So he goes after everyone that was created out of his exposure. And that doesn't go over so well because, as far as I know, all of them come back as Hulks. You can't get rid of the Hulk. And there was a point where the Hulk even disappeared and was gone for quite a while. I'm thinking years even. And Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross had to take over for the Hulk as the Red Hulk. I mean, talk about a juxtaposition there. He's suddenly having to fill in his son-in-law's job, the son-in-law he hates. So he gets to stomp around and do I'm going to punch these things because the same people that he worked for that hunted the Hulk are now hunting him. And everything comes full circle there. You should treat people with kindness instead of fear and anger. But yeah, so. And then probably one of the cooler storylines in recent history, and one that I've really enjoyed, is the Immortal Hulk, which is where the Hulk doesn't become the Immortal Hulk, but becomes Devil Hulk. And, there's a point where a bunch of scientists capture him, dismember him, put him in a bunch of different jars, and he still doesn't die. There's a really horrifying scene. It's definitely very Halloween-y in the first issue, which I don't have. But in that, he reassembles and absorbs one of the scientists that cut him up. It's like his parts are rolling around on the floor like a zombie, like Frankenstein. And they all come back together around this scientist dude. And the Hulk just essentially eats him through absorption. And this whole arc is about Bruce Banner dealing with the ghost of his abusive father. He finds out where the source of all the superpowers of this gamma radiation are. In this issue specifically, there's a part where they talk about how gamma radiation itself is a scientific thing, but that's a gateway into a magical realm, essentially, a realm of devils and angels, heroes and hell, and he has to face and deal with all of those issues himself, get past his father's involvement, who, as you can tell from some of the artwork on this, it gets very philosophical, kind of like Spider-Man and the Spider-God stuff. And the most recent arc that I've seen out right now, I think this issue is the latest issue, and it is current up to November. Don't quote me on that. But the Hulk is getting into fights with Thor. It's called the Banner of War arc. Runs over like 6 issues, 3 of them in the Hulk, 3 of them in Thor. And at the very end of it, some stuff goes down, some stuff gets crazy, and we end up with a new Hulk. And I'll let you guys read that as it's a current running arc, so you can find out, who the new Hulk is. But it's very problematic, and it seems as if the Hulk and Bruce Banner might have died again. And I'll just leave that hanging there for that point. And I think wrap up for tonight with just some discussion that, the Hulk is a story of mental health. And if you personally are having issues, I encourage everybody to seek out help. Don't let your rage, your anger ruin your family interactions, your friendships, your work life. If you feel like you have issues you can't control, like the Hulk, there are people out there to talk to. Find them, talk to them, get some help. And on that PSA, I will end for tonight. I hope you guys enjoy. Bye.